Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. Right, so during the process of this announcement of the PIP situation and the whole benefits changes, welfare system and things like that, a lot of people in the comment section have been giving me their feedback and their thoughts on this whole process. And some of these questions have come around because there's a lack of understanding, because it's been very complicated in the way it's set out. If you read the green paper, it's not necessarily easy to understand, and also, you know, the announcement was very vague at times, and so people don't quite understand how it's going to affect them. So what I thought I would do is I would take a section of this green paper which talks about PIP in particular, and I would go through it with you guys so that you can see what they put in it, and I'll try to explain that the best way that I think I can. So let's have a look at it now and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the part of the green paper that says focusing PIP more on those with higher needs. Now, this first part basically just tells you that in 24-25 there are 3 million working age people in receipt of PIP at a cost of 21.8 million. By 29-30 the working age PIP caseload is forecast to be 4.2 million at a cost of 34.1 billion pounds. Now I'm just going to go, before I go further down, I just want to say to people that of course a lot of these people are working and receiving PIP. So, you know, not everybody who receives PIP isn't working. There are a number of people, quite a few people in fact, who use their PIP money to help them work. Either help them with additional needs that they may need in the workplace, help them with transport to and from work, help them deal with their condition while they're at work and things like that. They use this money to help them with their daily work. Now, I don't think what the government have necessarily thought about, or they may have thought about it and just ignored it, is the fact that a lot of these people who are going to miss out on PIP are going to be people who are currently working, but because of the changing in the rules, they're now going to be without PIP. So many of these people may lose their jobs or be unable to work because of this lack of support. And I don't think the government are necessarily thinking about that, or they don't really care. Either way, I mean, I'll leave that up to you. But I mean, I just think that they're missing this aspect of it, that PIP is not, you know, it's not a work-based benefit. You know, you don't have to be out of work to get it. You don't have to be working to get it. It's not, it doesn't apply like that. But they are treating this now as something which is people that get out of PIP and get into work, whereas a lot of people who get PIP do work. But I just wanted to clarify that before I carry on. So they basically said they need to change this by changing the spend of the welfare bill and while continuing to support those with higher needs related to their long-term health condition. As described above, we will introduce a new eligibility requirement to ensure that only those who score a minimum of 4 points in at least one daily living activity will be eligible for the daily living component of PIP. Now, a lot of people have asked me this question about whether this applies to mobility part as well. The mobility part hasn't changed. The points for that haven't changed. You can still get the mobility points of this. However, you won't qualify for the daily living component unless you get 4 points in one descriptor. Now that means that they haven't changed the points on that yet. They are going to be changing PIP. They're going to be consulting on that in the future, but that's going to be a way away, I think. But as it stands at the moment, the descriptors, and you can find these online, a list of the descriptors for the daily living component, you will need to satisfy the DWP in one of those descriptors which has 4 points. So I'll see if I can find it for you, and then I'll show you what I mean. But yeah, so at the moment it's going to be changing to you need to have 4 points in the disability element, in the daily living element I should say, to qualify for the daily living element. But that does not apply to mobility. You can still get the points as you would have done before. This means that people with the lower needs only in the daily living activities scoring 3 points or less for each activity will no longer be eligible for the daily living component of PIP. Meanwhile, people with the higher level of functional need in at least one activity, for example, people who are unable to complete all activities at all, or who require more help from others to complete them, will still receive PIP. We will introduce this change through primary legislation. It will apply to new claimants and for existing people who claim. Future eligibility will be decided at their next award review. So people who are worried they're going to get assessed now, this won't be assessed. The new rule won't come in until your award date has changed. Your award date has ended. So when you're due for your next review, that's when these new things, if they go ahead, that's when these new criteria will be used. We are mindful of the impact this change would have on people, and so want to consider how we can best support those affected. This includes options for transitional protection for those who are no longer eligible for PIP. So what that could be is that maybe they would pay you a percentage of what you would have got for a period of time, and then maybe that will reduce over time. They haven't explained how that's going to work, but probably some kind of balloon payment, so that you'll get a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time, and then it will decrease or whatever. They haven't been specific on that yet. And entitlements linked to their award. In addition, we also want to consider how to support those with lower needs in a larger number of PIP activities. As part of these changes, we are consulting on whether those who lose entitlement need support and what this support could look like. So they are looking at support for people who lose out on PIP. Whether it will be any good and whether it will work, I don't know. But that is something they have mentioned in the green paper, so I'll have to wait and see what the details are about that. Right, so this is from the Citizens Advice Bureau's website, so you can always search for this. I just put in PIP descriptors into Google search, and this came up under the Citizens Advice Bureau if you want to look for it yourself. So this is the current table of descriptors for PIP. As I said before, they're going to be looking to change this in the future, but that's not going to be for some time, I don't think. So at the moment, you can see here you've got preparing food and you've got A to F with varying points as you go down. Now, under the old system, and of course this does go on to other things like taking nutrition and managing therapy and monitoring health and washing and bathing, managing toilet and needs and things like that, dressing and undressing, communicating verbally, reading and understanding symbols and words, engaging with other people face to face, making and budgeting decisions, and then you've got the mobile activities. Now these aren't going to change, so if you've got whatever points you got for these before, those points will still be good as they have been in the past. However, with the daily living component, that is now going to be changing. So if I go quickly back to the top of this, and I'll show you what I mean. So under here, you will now need to have 4 points from one of these descriptors in this list that I've just showed you. So for example, if you get the need supervision or assistance to either prepare or cook a simple meal, that's 4 points. That will qualify you for the daily living activity component. However, if you only get B and C, so needs to use an aid or appliance to be able to prepare food or cook a simple meal, you get that one, for example, and cannot cook a simple meal using a conventional cooker but is able to use a microwave, so they're 2 points each. If you get those two, you would think that equals 4. That doesn't qualify you. It has to be one descriptor with 4 or more points. So if your points of 4 points are spread over more than one descriptor, it means you won't qualify for the daily living activities. I hope that explains it. That's the best way I can try and explain it to you. So that's how it works now if this goes through. And I say if because obviously there are going to be a lot of challenges to this, I can imagine. Let me know down in the comment section if you found this helpful and if there's anything which I haven't explained that you want me to. In terms of universal credit, I'm going to be doing a video on the changes to that as well. So don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with that and other things going on in the world of benefits. And I hope you're all keeping well, and I'll see you next time.